You're listening to the Roundtable. For the next 2 hours, we'll talk local high school sports with the voice of the Oneida Indians, Tim Smith.
Now down court, he pushes it up to Zip.
Boom! Right now, baby!
Grabbing with the slam.
The voice of the Scott Highlanders, Rick Keaton.
Over to Gray Talk, pulls up, got a good look at it, three shot, won't go. Garrett throws it up off the iron, yes, count it. Ahead of the buzzer. Toby Garrett, that backside board.
And special guests from both schools. Produced by the IH Sports Network, the Roundtable begins now. You're listening to the Roundtable. For the next 2 hours, we'll talk local high school sports with the voice of the Oneida Indians, Tim Smith.
Now down court, he pushes it up to Zip.
Boom! Right now, baby!
Grabbing with the slam.
The voice of the Scott Highlanders, Rick Keaton.
Over to Gray Talk, pulls up, got a good look at it, three shot, won't go. Garrett throws it up off the iron, yes, count it. Ahead of the buzzer. Toby Garrett, that backside board.
And special guests from both schools. Produced by the IH Sports Network, the Roundtable begins now.
Good Thursday evening, everyone. Welcome to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network, alongside the voice of the Indians, Tim Smith, the voice of the Highlanders, Rick Keaton. I'm Ben Garrett. Thank you for being with us. We are live from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Helenwood. If you're out and about, we invite you to come in and be with us. We've got pizza from Baby J's Pizzas, so come by, have some pizza, and enjoy all the folks who are going to be stopping by tonight. We've got Sky High Wrestling coach Jason Jeffers, who'll be here a little bit later on. We've got basketball players from Sky High and Oneida. We've got our Legends of the Game. Tim Smith has got a legend interview lined up at the end of the show, which he's keeping a secret from now. First, guys, though, hard to believe because it seems like that we just got this thing started, and it happens every year. It slips up on us, but a week and a day, and we'll be wrapping up the regular season and getting ready for the postseason. Tim, we'll start off by talking about the Oneida Lady Indians and where the Lady Indians have gone since the last time we were here and the last time we talked. Still sitting atop the district at 5-0. The last couple of outings have been tough against York and Kingston. So let's focus on the district standings and how this team is still unbeaten in the district.
Well, and I think those games are key still going in. I mean, I'm sure nobody's pleased with the way things went against York on Monday night. Of course, they were supposed to follow that up with Jellicoe on Tuesday, and weather prevented that. But the Lady Indians are in the driver's seat, but, we have 8 days left in the season, and they haven't clinched anything. And tomorrow night they could. It could happen one of two ways. It could happen with an Oneida win, or it could happen with a Sunbright loss at Coalfield. Either combination there. Actually, if Oneida wins, they still got to have that Sunbright loss at Coalfield to clinch. So if Sunbright can win on the road at Coalfield tomorrow night, the Lady Tigers, who have, I think, been a surprise for some people, but, Coach Yaden was there, the cupboard wasn't bare, and they've done a good job, especially with a surge late in the season, kind of like what you've seen from your teams, the Lady Highlanders and the Highlanders. It's kind of a team that's trending in the right direction when you want them to be, and it's not somebody you want to run into in these early rounds in the district tournament. I mean, it's somebody that's got the ship going in the right direction, but it is at Coalfield. And the Lady Yellow Jackets are the defending district champs, and they're going to have something to say about it on their home floor tomorrow night. So Oneida finds themselves in that odd position of rooting for Coalfield, to get a win tomorrow night, but it would clinch the district for the Lady Indians if they do. But Sunbright has proven themselves to be nothing to be taken for granted, and certainly for real in what they're doing this year. So, Coalfield's had the ups and downs, and whatever's going on doesn't seem to have sorted out for the Lady Jackets. Once the district tournament gets underway, though, you're nervous about all of them, right?
I think Coalfield is a very dangerous team for anybody. Sunbright's at 3-2; they're second in the district. Coalfield at 3-3. So as you said, if Coalfield can win tomorrow night, and if Oneida can win against Wartburg tomorrow night, Wartburg comes in at 2-4. Then that secures the district for the Lady Indians. For the Lady Highlanders, they have already wrapped up district play Unfortunately, they're going to be the 4 seed. That is by virtue of a coin toss, something we were not expecting. We thought that Scott High was going to be the 3 seed because of their blowout win over Anderson County. They had the coaches meeting on Wednesday. They had decided to go a different direction. I don't think Jake Wright was in favor of that, but it came down to a coach's vote, and he was outvoted. Scott High loses the coin toss to Anderson County, so Scott High is 4th. Even though they're last in the district going in, and they're going to have to play a really good Halls team in that first round of the district tournament, this is a Scott High team that, like Tim talked about, with Sunbright trending in the right direction, Scott's trending in the right direction, and what an exciting win over Coalfield Tuesday night.
Well, it's an exciting win over Coalfield. One night after a tough loss to Halls at home. So there's no doubt I think Hall's the best team, but I also think the Lady Howlers have probably got, for lack of a better word, the muscle to play with them. And you've got to go in there, and you've got to be a hot shooting team for the Lady Howlers. That has been the up and the down and everything else throughout the course of the season. They can have one good game where, believe it or not, they'll shoot 42, 45%, from the field. And still lose, as a matter of fact. That should be a good enough number to win, but they can still lose those games just because they don't get enough good shots off. And shots are getting blocked and so forth. But we saw Coalfield on Tuesday night, Tim. It's Tim that you were just talking about. Coalfield was a real challenge for the Lady Howlers because they are big inside. Mm-hmm. They've got 2 post players that have size, hyphen other size there like that. And the Lady Howlers have not played against a team that's put 2 post players on the floor like Coalfield was able to do. But still, the Lady Howlers performed well to get that win there. We look at Halls. We played with Halls for a half, trailed 1 point at halftime. You go back to last Friday night, Clinton, and all I've really got to say about the Clinton game is, hey, we played over at Clinton. I mean, it's a tough place, knockdown, drag-out type of atmosphere. Not the game, but the atmosphere, and that's where the district tournament's going to be. So,
lucky us.
No, we're not lucky. We're not lucky at all, but that's the way it rolls, like the coin toss you were talking about with determining the 4 seed, the 3 and 4 seed. That's the way it rolls. I think Coach Wright will prepare the Lady Highlanders to get back to that. They've got a tough one on Friday night against Campbell County, 3 games next week. I mean, to prepare, getting ready for that. And every one of these games, important for the Lady Highlanders. They need to keep the momentum going. They need to feel the confidence. They need to start making shots. You counted them the other night, was at the Halls game, I guess, where we probably left 20 points somewhere out on the court because we couldn't make easy, mostly uncontested shots from underneath the basket. We have to do better than that, and it's a concentration thing. And I think Coach Wright knows what he needs to do to prepare the team. And so I feel like they will get better with the 4 remaining games each and every game.
Tomorrow night's where the stretch run starts against Campbell County. Scott High beat Campbell County on their floor back in December on a last-second, but a 3-point shot by Julie Lawson in the final 10 seconds. All right, switching over to the boys. Tim, Oneida's kind of in the same situation on the boys' side as they are on the girls' side. It's been a little bit of a tough stretch the last week or so with the losses to Kingston and York. 2 really good teams. Well, a really good Kingston team and a pretty good York team. But it's an Oneida team that still sits at 5-0. Tomorrow night against Wartburg. They can't secure a district championship, regular season district championship tomorrow night with a win, but they can come awfully close.
That's true. And, in looking at your district, I think everyone believes they can beat the other team on a given night with Anderson County, Halls, Scott, and Clinton. And I think in the boys' standings in our district, I think there's still a belief in these teams because for the most part, when you look up and down the road, but nobody's done it, but we all remember last year. Nobody had done it at this point last year either. And, I mean, I don't think it's jinxing anything to talk about it. You got to bring it out in the open. Oneida was undefeated going into that last game last year, and they played Oliver Springs, and Oliver Springs got the win there. Then they turned around and got a big win in the district and derailed everything. And I was watching Tennessee play Florida last night, and I heard Jimmy Dykes, the color commentary. He said he was talking about Tennessee not matching the intensity that Florida brought to the floor last night. And I think sometimes that's where we fall behind is we don't match the intensity of these other teams that see that 5-0 in the district, and they're coming at you over that. And if we go to Kingston, we step it up and we're running with Kingston. But when these other teams bring that intensity, we haven't matched it every night, and we didn't last year, and we have to this time. It's a must for the Indians to do that, because when you look at the standings, it's all out there. What's interesting, Sunbright is 4th. They have one district win in the boys column, and that win was over Oliver Springs. And you think, how in the world does that happen when you look at Oliver Springs, who hung with us on their floor? So it's just a cautionary tale going into this tournament, and Coalfield's got athletes, and so, I mean, you just got to be nervous about everybody, I think, but all you can do is take care of business. And the Indians will have a good test that got pushed forward with Jellicoe. Jellicoe, very athletic. They've got some outstanding individual players, and we got to go to their place, which is an intimidating place to play. So that's going to be a big game on Monday night, and then going to Sunbright, a team that has beat Oliver Springs, and has capability, and then
played Oneida close and Oneida.
Played Oneida close there. So, and now you're on their floor, so you got to take care of that. And then you got senior night against Oliver Springs, and you just can't have a repeat. They may have clinched by then. If Oneida can get the win against Wartburg and get the win against Sunbright, they'll have clinched just like they had last year. But you don't want to miss an opportunity here against the Oliver Springs Bobcats that night. So still beyond that, the district tournament, it's going to be great. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be in Oneida for the first time in 25 years.
Yeah. Big boost, I think, for the Lady Indians,
yes.
or for the Indians and the Lady Indians. I mean, both of those teams are clear-cut number one right now at this point, and so to have that tournament on their home floor, there's a lot of potential there. Rick, what an exciting last 7 or 8 days it has been for Scott High. They got the win over Clinton on Friday night in an exciting game. Took Halls, the top seed in the district, to the wire. Took them to overtime, as a matter of fact, on Monday. Probably should have won that game. Then played really well against Coalfield on Tuesday. In the process, they have wrapped up a second-place finish in the regular season district standings. It's hard to believe it's been 25 years since Scott's finished that high outright. Now, they did finish in a tie for second last year, and it went to the tiebreaker. But to be the outright number 2 team, it's been a while. It's a Scott High team that's playing pretty well as the season comes to a close.
Well, I certainly think that they are. I want to start with the Coalfield game and back up to Clinton last week. Coalfield, it ties into what Tim said, may be the first team that we've played in a while that we just went out, took care of business, played extremely well, very loose, played well, had a big win where we weren't in the other games. So many of our other games this year, we've played maybe to the level of the opponent. Sometimes we've not been able to catch up to that opponent, but they got a very comfortable win. When you make 15 three-point shots, that's just how loose that those guys were on Tuesday night. You back up a day to Monday night, and you're hoping to get the win over Halls to get the tie for the 1 seed. And we had that. We had it in front of us, but it shows the depth, I think, of the 4 teams within District 4 right there. Any given night, any team can beat the other team. And then last Friday at Clinton, it was not a fun game if you were a parent, if you were a fan sitting there, because I guarantee you wanted to fight. That's the nature of the beast between our team and Clinton this year. But we were real resilient, would not go away. We had a chance to win at regulation. Instead, we went into overtime and really sort of controlled things there. And I must say that we're getting some really good play out of the 4 seniors that are on the floor most of the time. We're getting some really good play there. And that has been a big factor. And we'll talk. I think we got one. We got 2.
Yeah.
We got a couple of seniors coming in, and we'll talk with them about that. I think that they know that they can play with so many teams, especially teams in our district. And can we get the confidence to say, let's go in and play loose now? Get it rolling, and keep it rolling.
It's going to be an interesting, we talked about this the other night, this last 8 days of the regular season litmus test type thing for Scott High, because you got games against Campbell County, Pickett County, and Kingston that you lost the first time around. Campbell County and Pickett County were not really that close.
Right.
So we'll see how far that team has come along. The other one is against Kingston. That's a team that Scott High led most of the game the first time that they met. But Kingston's gotten much better. Joe Lane has done a fantastic job, and that game may be in the toughest environment to play in East Tennessee down at Kingston. That's a tough gym to walk into.
It's a different court down there. I walk in and I think, well, it's 150 feet long from goal line to goal line down there. You were there not too long ago. It just seems like it's such a big court. It's not. It's 94 feet. I asked the guys to measure it for me one time, but it's their crowd can get a little boisterous, but it's the court when you walk in there and you look at a gym that it used to run side to side. Then they added on, and now it's the transverse that it is right now. I mean, so it's been there a long time. 4 or 5 years ago, they did a pretty good overhaul on it. I just love the floor, the playing surface, and the colors down there. I'm not looking forward to playing at Kingston, but I really look forward to that game.
Should be a good one.
Yes,
all right. So, an exciting final week of the regular season on tap. It starts tomorrow night with Oneida going down to Wartburg, and with Scott High hosting.
We're home.
I'm sorry, Oneida at home against Wartburg. Scott High hosting Campbell County. Both of those games will be live tomorrow night on the IH Sports Network. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to step aside from basketball for just a few minutes and talk to Jason Jeffers about wrestling coming to Scott High School. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network, along with Tim Smith and Rick Keaton. I'm Ben Garrett, and we're joined now by Scott High's Jason Jeffers, and I said you're the Scott High wrestling coach, and I guess that's not official yet, but you are certainly doing the legwork to make a wrestling program at Scott High official, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. First ever, I believe, wrestling program in the history of Scott County. So tell us how this came about, where you stand, and what you're doing going forward.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on. It's very fast-paced right now. The season doesn't really begin until November the 1st. It runs with basketball season. It's a winter sport. So, really we've been kicking around the ideal at Scott High for probably 6 or 7 years now. And we've got the right people in place right now. It was the right time to implement the new program. So we sat down probably mid-October and really started talking to the administration about it and our leaders in our school system, and put together a presentation, a packet really, and presented that to our administration at Scott High. And I said, don't ruin your Thanksgiving over it. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, but I'm going to follow up with you before Christmas, and we're going to see what we can do here. So I put a little bit of pressure on them, and so that worked out really good. And then we took that to Director Hall, and he kind of chewed on it and looked at it for a little while, and he said, Jason, why haven't we been doing this? This makes too much sense. And that was kind of the consensus among everyone we spoke to. And so we come back in early January, and we got the go-ahead to kind of get the ball rolling on practice facilities and things of that nature. And what we've kind of done since then, we've reached out to TSSAA, and we've talked about our districts, kind of where we're going to fall at. They asked me several questions geographically, where we at, and you've got some information about that, obviously. But from there, probably the two major things that we've done thus far, we've done a survey among our 9th, 10th, and 11th graders. Our 8th graders, they know nothing about this other than word of mouth right now. And so among our 9th, 10th, and 11th graders, we had 43 kids that expressed interest. We were able to take a large group over to Lincoln Memorial University. I can't remember the date, sometime in January there. And great facilities over there. They started their wrestling program 2 years ago. And so they're really good to us. Spent 45 minutes to an hour talking to our group. Pretty encouraging to go over there and to kind of see that program and see the excitement that we actually brought to the table. They were so happy to see us as close as we are to LMU. And so, that was kind of the early stages of it, kind of where we started at. There's a lot more going on there, but that's the nuts and bolts of kind of what we've done. And of course, we've got several things in place going forward. But really, we're just thankful. I'm really thankful to our administration, our school system, our leadership in our school system. And I'm excited for the kids. Great opportunity for the kids. We've got 700 and something kids at Scott High School, and a lot of folks don't know we've won 7 state championships at Scott High School, 7. And all 7 of those are in individual sports. And what I've told my kids so far is, guys, I really believe that there is a state championship wrestler in Scott County right now. The difference is yesterday we didn't have a program, and today we do. So I don't know where that state championship wrestler's at. I don't know if they're in high school or middle school or elementary school, but I do believe we've got one in Scott County. We've proven at Scott High we can compete in that arena, and I'm looking forward to it. Very excited about it.
How many weight classes, Jason, do you anticipate starting with?
So in the state of Tennessee, there's 14 weight classes for the men's and 12 weight classes for the girls. And we'll, if our numbers are any indication, we'll fill every weight class, which is really, really good.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned 42 kids so far that not including your 8th graders, but 42 kids that are already at Scott High have expressed an interest. What does a typical high school wrestling team consist of as far as number of players?
Yeah, so I've been watching wrestling at the high school and the college level now for, like I said, probably 8 years, maybe more. Me and my son, we started traveling around many years ago. Of course, he's in college. He's in his 2nd or 3rd year of college now, so we've been doing it for quite a while. But your typical high school team in East Tennessee, they're going to field, they're going to bring anywhere between 12 and 15 wrestlers to a competition. So some of your bigger schools, your bigger programs, for example, Halls and Gibbs, both those schools, they're in Region 2, District 3 and 4. Both those schools qualified for the state duels. That's the team meets. Anytime you hear the word duel, that's a team activity, and then the tournament is an individual activity. So Gibbs and Halls, what they'll bring to the table, they'll bring 25 or 30 wrestlers to the table. And there's only 26 weight classes, guys and girls. So they'll even have junior varsity teams and stuff like that. Teams like Stone Memorial, they'll bring that many to the table as well. Surprisingly, Union County has got one of the better wrestling programs around too, based on what I've seen. They'll bring anywhere between 20 and 23 wrestlers to a competition. And then from there, Anderson County is really strong right now. They didn't make the state duels. I think they lost to Maryville, I think, in the sectional. But Anderson County, they've got a really good program too. They had a state championship wrestler over there a couple of years ago. Many of the offensive linemen that we saw in the state championship game with Anderson County, a few of those guys are state level wrestlers. So even though their team didn't make the state duels, I've not looked at every individual school. If there's a really good chance that AC's probably got some individual wrestlers in there. But yeah, so we'll bring quite a few kids to the table. We'll be right there in the mix of things.
Out of that 42, what's your breakdown between boys and girls?
Boys and girls, out of that 42, we probably looking at 12 to 14 girls in that group, that have expressed interest. We took 7 girls with us to Lincoln Memorial. LMU, they're NCAA Division II over there, so you have to have X number of wrestlers to actually have a sanctioned wrestling team. And they have 3 girls, so they're still a club sport NCAA-wise. They're not in it, so they're a club sport. So girls wrestling is something in East Tennessee that still needs to grow. In some areas, it's thriving. From one aspect, it's a bad thing, but from the other aspect, it's actually a good thing. Because if you're in that sport as a female, you can really thrive. You really can. You can climb the ranks. The competition, it's fierce. There's just not as much of it. So very interesting, yep.
So for people who might not be aware, because I have a feeling that a lot of people are not familiar with high school wrestling, and maybe their only exposure to wrestling is WWE and that sort of stuff. High school wrestling is it's not entertainment. It is a legitimate sport. So talk about that aspect of it.
Yeah, so, it's like anything else. Reality TV is not real at all. And, of course, WWE and WWF, that is all professional wrestling. This is amateur wrestling. This is Olympic-style wrestling, college wrestling. A simple Google search would show you anything you want to know about that. I don't know much about professional wrestling, to be honest with you, other than what I remember from as a child growing up watching it. But high school wrestling is much, much different. It's much different than like MMA or anything like that you would watch. High school wrestling, it's very high-skilled. There's 3 2-minute rounds that exist, 2-minute periods. There's no break in between rounds or anything like that. You'll go from the first period to the second period instantly.
It's a very quick-paced sport, is it not?
It is very much so, yeah, for sure.
And what I think is good about it is it is a winter sport. You pointed that out in your flyer. And so the only other sport that's available in winter right now is basketball. I don't think many basketball players in high school are interested in wrestling. That's my guess. Maybe I'm wrong about that. So this gives those kids that are athletes and want to participate another avenue to participate during the winter months.
Absolutely. This is the first sport we've added at Scott High School since our girls soccer team took off, and we've seen what soccer has done in Scott County.
Yes.
So it's exploded, and this potential has the opportunity and the potential to do just that. One thing we looked at over the past several months is how many middle school programs we have added in that same 20-year span. So we send a lot of athletes to our high schools. But when those athletes get in high school, they have fewer options, to be honest with you. Yeah, but it is, we only offer one winter sport to 700 students at Scott High School, and this is going to be a great opportunity for those kids.
Right now, as far as co-op sports, and this is maybe something you don't even got to the point of looking at, but Scott High kids can go to Oneida and be a part of the fishing team or the golf team, and Oneida kids can come to Scott High and be a part of the track team. Is that a possibility as well?
Sure, it's absolutely a possibility. Me and Director Hall, we sat down and spoke about that specifically, and we're going to kind of wait and see what that looks like. You know, like I said, there's only 14 weight classes in the men's and 12 in the boys, and we're going to try to take care of our own first. You know, it's kind of what we have to look at there. But absolutely, that's a possibility. Oneida's got some things with their fishing team that we may have some interest down there. So our school systems have always worked really good together on a lot of different levels. So that's absolutely a possibility. It's something we spoke about.
Okay, so what's next? Between now, November seems like a long time off, but I bet for you it doesn't seem like that far, just trying to get this thing off the ground and running. Yeah. What comes next?
So we're going to do a few team building activities over the next several months with my group at Scott High, and they've yet to be told that yet, but we've got some team building activities that we'll do. Look for us at the 4th of July. We'll probably do some games out there. Look for us on the side of the highway, probably doing some car washes and stuff like that, you know. And those are some fundraiser things, but honestly, the team building side of it's more important. A lot of times we see our teams doing fundraising, and we just think, well, they're just fundraising. But it's really more than that. When you're a coach and a teacher and one of those athletes, you kind of realize that, especially looking back on it as a team. So you'll see us doing a few fun things like that. What I'm doing with my kids now, I'm essentially saying, hey, this is the matches that are going on this week. This is where they're taking place at. University of Cumberland has got an excellent NAI wrestling program up there, very advanced. They just beat number 15 in NAI, Cumberland University from Lebanon. So I'm encouraging my kids to go to things like that, just to kind of familiarize themselves with it. That's what's going on that end. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, you know, as far as practice facilities, and we're looking at equipment and mats and things like that.
So you mentioned that you have not been into the middle schools yet. So for the 8th graders that are going to be at Scott High next year that might be interested in participating in this, is this a situation where they need to reach out, or is it you'll be reaching out to them, or you'll catch them when they get to Scott High next fall?
Yeah, we're definitely going to reach out to them for sure. One thing we've done for many years, we've developed a really good relationship with our high school and our elementary and middle schools. We go into those schools anyway for just several different things, academic reasons as well as athletic reasons. So yeah, I will be making plans to be in each of our middle schools before school's out. Probably try to co-op with one of our other coaches that goes down there anyway, and we'll just kind of, you know, take care of that. One thing I did want to say to all of our middle schoolers, get involved with wrestling. If it's something that they're interested in, get involved in it. If you go to Knoxville has private individual wrestling clubs all over the city. So those kids over there, they wrestle year-round. As soon as the TWSAA season comes to an end, the majority of your high school wrestlers will go back to club wrestling, and they will continue to wrestle. So it's really a year-round sport if you want it to be. We are bound as a high school and a member of TWSAA. We have to abide by certain rules. But I would encourage those kids to get involved somewhere because when they get to Scott High School, we will have a team for them.
All right, good deal. Jason Jeffers with Scott High Wrestling, good luck on getting this thing off the ground. Sounds exciting. And guys, I guess we got to figure out who's going to be our broadcaster for high school wrestling. That's a Kevin Akers job, right?
I think it sounds like it, yeah.
You know,
Kevin.
And a lot of credit to Jason, and I'm going to mention this. The next thing we need to pursue, volleyball.
Volleyball, absolutely. I'm on board. Can you coach that as well?
I can do whatever I'm asked to do.
There you go.
All right. Jason Jeffers, Scott High School, thank you for joining us. Good luck. And we'll step aside, take another break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by a couple of Oneida Lady Indians. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. Tim Smith, Rick Keaton, I'm Ben Garrett. We're 30 minutes in. We talked to Jason Jeffers about wrestling. That's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. But enough about wrestling. Let's get back to the main topic for February, which is high school basketball. And we're joined by a couple of Oneida Lady Indians, Allie Smith and Annalia Terry. Both of these guys are juniors and an integral part of that Oneida team that is sitting atop the district standings right now, Tim.
Absolutely. Yes, these ladies are juniors. You're correct on that.
I'm sorry.
And so,
guys, inappropriate.
And, of course.
Sorry, guys.
Well, the first question we have to do is ask Allie. Allie, what is your dad's name?
Tim Smith.
Tim Smith. But
Yeah.
we need to make clear that's the real Tim Smith. He's smarter, he's better looking, and he is not me. And so that gives him.
We agree.
That gives him the advantage in every way. So we just want to point that out. But all around good guy. But let's start with tomorrow night. You got Wartburg. And so, Allie, I'll toss that up to you. Wartburg, you've been there. You defeated them. They were a young team. Their head coach wasn't there that night, but they hung right with us. Talk about what's difficult about the Lady Bulldogs.
Well, they actually played a lot more intense than I thought they would. When we went out there, I was like, oh gosh, because I wasn't expecting that much intensity. And then we also were having a bad night, so they hung with us like pretty much the whole game. So we're gonna have to come out and play, but yeah.
Yeah, and Wartburg, just looking at the standings, Wartburg's fourth in the district, but I mean they played well that night, and they're a very young team. So I mean you're probably going to see every one of them next year when you're a senior. So Annalia, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to move on to the next game. I'm going to skip Jellicoe and move on to the next district game, and that's going to be Sunbright. So you've played them up here, and Sunbright in the district is in second place right now, and so you played them up here and you have to go to their place, so it could be like Wartburg. It's going to be tougher. What do you remember about Sunbright? What was challenging about the Lady Tigers to you? Anything?
Well, they also came out and played hard, and sometimes I feel like we kind of just take teams for granted sometimes and just expect to dominate them, but we actually got to come out and play.
Do you think, and is that a negative thing of when you play teams like York and Kingston and things like that, and then you think, oh well, we're not playing York tonight, so it shouldn't be as bad, and then maybe the intensity and the effort's not there? Is that what happens with that?
Yeah, I think that happens a lot of times because I think we just always need to play to the best of our abilities, not take anyone for granted at all.
All right. Well, tomorrow night you got a chance to clinch it. You're going to need some help from Coalfield as they host Sunbright, but a chance to clinch the district tomorrow night. And so far you haven't been beating the district, even if you haven't had the intensity that you've wanted. Oliver Springs will be left ahead on senior night. And since it's going to be senior night, let me ask you guys. You've got a couple of seniors in Kelsey and Rachel that have been with you this year, but next year it's going to be your all's team. Who do you think is going to step out as the senior leader next year? I'm just going to put you on the spot, Allie. Who do you think it'll be? Who do you think is there going to be a senior leader? Are you going to be the senior leader? How does that work? Is it as a group? You don't know yet?
I feel like it will be a group
Yeah.
because we've played together for a really long time. You got Braylon, Rayleigh, Grace, me, Leah. We've played together for a really long time. So I don't think there will be. I think we'll all kind of have our moments.
Okay.
We'll be leaders.
All right, and Annalia, I'm going to ask you when you first came in, and it wasn't that long ago. It may seem that way to you, but I mean, when you guys came in as freshmen, was there an upperclassman that you felt like reached out, took you guys under their wing, and made you feel welcome as Lady Indians? Is there somebody that stands out? Who was it?
Gracie Martin.
Gracie Martin. Yep, she was a leader for you guys, and she welcomed you in.
Yeah.
I think that's neat that you're able to shout out and mention who that was. And so now let me ask you a little bit about some rival players. Just going to be some quick questions back and forth, okay, here. So you both get a chance. Who do you feel like as a team is Oneida's rival in girls basketball? Who's the rival, the team that you look forward to that's going to be the game?
In district, it's definitely Cofield. But outside of that, we have a rivalry with Clark Range, and I feel like that's always a big game because we always want to try to play with them.
Okay. What about you, Allie? What do you think?
I'll probably say the same. Cofield's probably our biggest in the district, and then Clark Range, Pickett County are good games outside of the district.
All right. Let's get personal with this. Who's a player? And this is not bad personal. This is just respect. Who's a player that we're playing this player tonight? we better be ready to go. Who's somebody you personally know that you might have to deal with and defend, and it's somebody that you got to watch out for?
I'd probably say Reese Beatty from York.
Yeah.
That's how I feel when we play York.
Okay. She's going to be the challenge.
Yeah.
What about you, Analia?
Lexi Morrison.
Lexi Morrison? Yeah. Yeah, you got such a tough job, Analia. I think because we don't have size down low, but that doesn't stop Coach West from saying, "Get out there and do this, Analia."
There's no size difference between her and Alexis Morrison. Come on now.
No. I mean, there's just 3 times the size difference.
But I mean, the thing is, when we played that game the other night, it might be disheartening in a way, right? Because she's doing well, but you stay with it, even though she has successes. If you get that one stop may be the one difference, right? I mean, That's how I look at it. Is you're doing what you're supposed to do. You keep chucking away at it, no matter what. Now, let me ask you this: what do the Lady Indians do best?
I'd probably say our defense. When we're on it, our defense is probably one of the best things we can do, and playing fast.
What about it, Analia?
I agree, because we have a lot of things that we need to work on, but whenever we're on it, our defense is good.
Yeah, you're both wrong. Here's what it is, okay? Because I saw this, Bo Kidd put it out. The team has a 3.9 GPA. As a team,
Wow.
that is amazing. And so that's what you all do best. It looks like is that GPA. So keep that up because that's the important thing. But yeah, the defense. I agree, you guys. That's another good thing. So, what are your expectations for the Lady Indians? I mean, your personal expectations for this year. What do you expect?
Well, I expect us to win the district championship, go win the region championship, and then, try to get past sub-state and go to state.
Okay. So you think sub-state is probably the major hill that's going to have to be top there? Yeah. What about Atlanta, Leah? What do you think?
I agree. The sub-state, we've gotten out there the past, 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
And so if we get past sub-state, then state's what we really want.
Okay. And I'll start with you this time because I'm starting with her and you're having to just say, yeah, she's right. So I don't want you to have to do that. So what's a young player on this team that you would say, get ready because you're going to enjoy watching her the next few years? Who's somebody you would say?
Ellie West.
Ellie West?
Yeah.
Okay. We're already watching her some. What do you think, Allie? Give me somebody different, somebody else.
Lydia.
Lydia Klein?
Yeah, Lydia Klein.
Okay. Yeah, we've definitely seen those things now. You guys have had 3 years. Your freshman, sophomore, junior year, and then your senior year, we get to go to AA. What are your thoughts on that? What does that seem like to you? Because I look at the 2A rankings this week. Alcoa and Gatlinburg Pittman are sitting at 3 and 4, and that's 2 members of our district next year. And nothing's going to change that. So, have you thought about that yet, or what do you think? What do you think about that?
I mean, it's definitely going to be a challenge moving up, but I mean, I guess we'll see when we get there what it'll be like, but I don't know.
Yeah? I mean, what do you think about it?
It's definitely going to be tough and a big adjustment for us, but I hope we can handle it.
Yeah, I mean, it's never happened in basketball. We've moved up in football in the past at times, but it's never happened in basketball, and those are some pretty intimidating looking schools, but I think you guys have shown, and Coach West has shown the ability to get out there with AA schools and give it your best effort. And everything changes year to year. You never know what's going to go on, who's going to step up. Let me ask you about your after high school goals. So, I mean, we're looking a couple of years down the road. You've got some time, but early on, Allie, what are you thinking? Where do you see yourself when you leave high school as far as pursuing education somewhere or a specific place? What do you think?
Well, I want to go to college, probably in Hawaii, but maybe just anywhere on the coast, really. And I want to become a marine biologist. So.
The University of Hawaii, then?
University of Hawaii at Manoa, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've made plans.
I have.
We've not heard that one before.
I've not. And Leah, can you top that?
No.
Okay, what are you thinking?
I want to go into the nursing program at Round State.
Yeah. Okay. And then are you going to continue on? And
yeah. I want to get some years experience, and then I'll just probably build up from there.
Yeah. All right. And so I had one more question that just escaped me. So before we go, do you have a shout out? Do you want to give to anyone? Anybody that's going to say, hey, you could have said hi to me and you didn't, you go ahead and do it right now.
I can't think of no one.
No one? What about it, Analia?
Nope.
Okay, let's do this then. I gave the other ladies a chance real quick, rapid fire, and we'll be done. Who is the clown of the Lady Indians? Quick answer.
Me and Allie.
Yeah, it's us.
It's you two?
It's us.
Perfect question.
Good deal. All right, who is the psychiatrist? If people have problems, who they go to talk to get life advice? Don't trust anyone. That's okay. We'll move on.
It's not those two.
Nope. Who does the best Coach West impression?
Kelsey.
Yeah, probably Kelsey.
What about out of you two? You want to give us a shot at it?
No.
Okay. That's probably a good choice. Lastly, who is most likely to get a technical?
Probably her.
Out of anybody on the team?
Yeah, it's her.
I agree. Yeah. Yep. I believe that's true. But you know what? She's got the most reason to because she's down there battling with
Alexis.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, hey, thanks for coming, guys.
All right, Analia Terry and Allie Smith, thank you guys, and good luck. 8 days remaining in the regular season, 4 games, I think, during that time span. So let's close this thing out right and go get those district and region championships. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll switch to the Scout High side and be joined by a couple of Lady Highlander seniors. We're back with the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. Tim Smith, Rick Keaton, Ben Garrett. And let's give a quick shout-out to some folks. We got to thank Baby J's Pizza for providing pizza tonight, as they do every week. Trophy Masters for the set design. All these T-shirts that you see laid out here are from Trophy Masters. If you see one that you like, stop by on Main Street, see Tony Duncan or Jenny, and they can may even have them in stock already without even having to print them. So, with that said, we are joined by a couple of the 7 Scott High seniors who were recognized at senior night on Tuesday night. We've got Annaline Woodward. We've got Riley Price, a couple of Huntsville girls. And both of you guys have been playing key parts on this Scott High basketball team that continues to improve as the season goes along. Annaline had a really big game, and as a matter of fact, was our first National Bank player of the game on Tuesday night, Rick.
Certainly was. Enjoyed that game very much. You heard us talk a while ago. I picked on the last 3 games, Cofield, Halls, and Clinton. This is a tough challenge. 3 tough girls teams that y'all went up against. Which one, and I'll start with Riley over here. Which one of those, and 2 of them are our district opponents, which one of those you think gave us the most trouble? Which one would you like to play again?
I would say Halls, just because we know that they're the top team in the district, and we were only down by 1 at halftime, and then at halftime we were just like, okay, we need to, in the second half, we need to keep going and keep pushing and get by them. But then the third quarter, we just kept turning the ball over, unnecessary turnovers, and they just continued to get on top of us. So I think that team is a team that we would like to play again, and we'll see again very soon. So we're excited to play them.
Next, yeah. I'll ask you the same thing, Adeline. Of those 3 teams, all a challenge, do you have a preference as to which one you felt was the toughest team to prepare and play against, and who would you like to play again?
Halls is definitely the, I would say, toughest team, and I would definitely want to play them again just because, in my opinion, Halls has a good setup, and, I mean, they have a good team that we've always had trouble with, always been trying to overcome, and it's been like that the past 2 years, 3 years. I mean, they've been the top district, they've been our top competitor, and we all want to beat them. Everyone does. I think all of Scott County wants to see us beat them.
Well, that would be very nice. You played decently well over at Clinton, stuck in there for a good half. You gave them a battle, and Clinton a tough place to play. And Line, let's talk about Clinton. You gave me that little lip twirl right there, like we don't really want to go back to have to play Clinton again over there.
I don't mind playing Clinton again. Honestly, like, it's not really them. I do not like their gym that much at all. I just really don't like the roll-up goes. But it's not really me not wanting to play them. I definitely want to play them again. I'd really like to see what we can do with them because we've got beat by 4 both times we've played them, and that's just – it's devastating, especially in overtime because, I mean, to be honest, I feel like we tried really hard. We were right there multiple times and just gave it to them. And so the thought of Clinton just makes me sick, to be honest. But I definitely am ready, and I think we're all ready to get after some district opponents.
There you go. I mean, and we'll open the district tournament going against the team that you both said you really want to play again, Halls. What does it mean to you, Riley, to be able to say, we can play Halls? We're playing them on a neutral court this time. We're going to play them in Clinton. What do we have to do? What does your team have to do to be successful against him? Just give me 2 or 3 areas that you'd say we need to improve, we need to be good when we play them.
I think just our offense in general, we just need to take care of the ball more and be more patient. Sometimes we get down the court and we don't really set up anything, and then we just throw up a shot and then we don't get the rebound, and it's just like a one and done. So I think just our offense in general needs to be really good, and we need to be able to hit open shots. And I think we just need to take care of the ball to get past them and play good defense too, because they can really shoot lights out and they can drive the ball too. So I think that's just defense and offense, which is basically just the game we need to really be good at. So
the other night against Cofield, and Coach Wright has been doing this a lot, getting 9 deep, 10 deep in the game. Mm-hmm. And the other night against Cofield, he got 10 deep in line. Talk to us about the players, not necessarily getting to start, and you're one of them that hasn't been starting while Riley has. Talk to us about that next 3, 4, and 5 players that come in off the bench and the effort that we're getting from them throughout the games now.
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, those are the people that are really helping us get through these games, keeping us staying in there, because, I mean, we've made it clear, like, in practice, we all want to play, we all want to work, we're all working our hind ends off, to be honest with you. We're all fighting and clawing, not for playtime, but just to win and compete. And that's one thing. The people coming off the bench are doing a real good job of doing that. And it's just the most awesome thing. And for me, not starting, it doesn't bother me, because I get as much play time as I deserve. So does every one of those people coming off the bench. They get the amount of play time they deserve in practice. And they're doing a good job of coming off the bench, bringing in some energy, helping give Riley, Rachel, and even Brittany and Zoe, who at times he tries to leave in because, I mean, they're on primary ball handlers. And they've been a good job, like Gracie Luce has been a good job stepping up, handling the ball for us. And it just gave us this little bit extra to help us win ball games. And
Coach Wright has told us, he said, I make these changes, I have these substitution things. He said, I go with who's hot. Mm-hmm. And you've been on that bunch there near the end of the game. You've been on the floor with the bunch that he considers hot, that's keeping the team in the flow of things. Has that improved your confidence? Does that make you feel better knowing that I want to be on the floor, but at the end of the game when things are close, that's where I want to be on the court?
I mean, I think that does help my confidence, but I feel like, honestly, it has to do with me being a little bit experienced more, because, I mean, I have got to play a lot, and I think that me being in those tough situations last year and stuff and sophomore year has really helped build that up for me, as to, per se, some of the younger ones, and that's the main reason, like, maybe they might not be on the court, or it's just the fact that, I've been there before, and I guess I can be trusted in his eyes, and I've been able to follow through. And so I wouldn't say it helps my confidence. It just helps me know that I can get done what needs to get done, and that's all those girls on the court at the end. They all know, and that's every day. I mean, it's a matter of who's hot. Like he says, we have people that go on strides. He's going to keep them in the game. Mm-hmm. There's no sense in not. They're going to keep going. We're going to keep throwing them the ball.
Is it fun playing with your sister, being on the same team?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. In practice, we definitely get after each other. Anytime he says get a ball on a partner, it's always me and her. And even when we don't, we'll just be in drills, and we somehow end up getting partnered together. And it's really fun. We always compete, and we always get after each other. And sometimes they're just like, take it easy, but we always just go hard at it. And it's pretty fun playing with her. So
Sister Zoe, so when you're getting at it with each other like that, who wins those matchups?
I think it just depends on the day. Some days she has really good days, and some days I do. So I think it really just depends on who's having a good day or not. But I'd say I have more good days than she does.
That's the answer I was really waiting for right there. Like that. I mean, but we enjoy Zoe too. Of course, Adeline, we've got this dynamic between our girls and boys team where we've got sets of twins.
Yeah.
2 boys players, 2 girls players. I want to ask you about your brother, Caleb. Are you the better athlete?
I definitely would say I'm the better athlete. I mean, what can I say? I've taught him everything he knows.
Hey, he's even sitting back there.
I know.
Agreeing with that. I mean,
cheap shot. He's
That
got
is
an
a
ACL.
See, there's things like that just makes me better than him. I mean, what can I say?
Well, we're glad that he was sitting back there so he could, really clarify things for us here like that. But you did, I don't know what he said, you did have to overcome an ACL injury, and those are tough. And we don't recognize some of our players that come in. They, now it's a 6-month thing. But, I remember when it used to be a 12 or an 18-month thing to be able to get back on the court, participate. So, there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. And we can see that you have progressed throughout the course of the season this year. I take this from Tim. Who's the fun players on the team during practice or during the games? Who can say something that gets everybody laughing?
Keely Goodman. She's the funniest person I've ever met in my whole life.
Yeah, she's a funny freshman. I would also say Zoe. She's always so hyper, and she always brings the energy, and she's really funny too. So
yeah.
Who's do you have anyone that you consider as the ultimate super competitor on the team? Who's just downright, you can't beat me. I don't care what sport we play.
Zoe Price. She just has a lot of grit to her. Defense wise, we'll scrimmage and she wants to guard the best person out there. She wants to guard Brittany, she wants to guard Zoe, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't think she was that quick until she guarded me one day and she stole a couple of balls and I was like, man, but she definitely, even in softball, she wants to be the best. She works hard and it's fun because she works hard on the defensive end and the offensive end, and she always works hard against Riley, but when she works hard against someone else, it's interesting to watch.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. So,
looking ahead, I'm going to jump ahead to Friday night. It's a Campbell County team that you got to take on. It's on our home court. Tell me what each one of you, just whichever one wants to go first, what you remember about the first time we played them this season.
Definitely just Julie's shot that put us ahead of them, and it was just I was on the court and we were running just an inbounds, and me and Brittany were just running the play, and then Julie's just over there, and I didn't even really notice her, and Zoe threw the ball and then she made it, and everyone's going crazy. So I think that's definitely the most memorable part of the game. So.
And it was a memorable moment. How about you, Adeline? What do you remember about that game?
I definitely would have to say it's that shot because we were all like I was on the bench at the time and we were all like, Julie's wide open. Like she's real good about getting lost. Yeah, we're all standing there and she's standing right in front of us. They throw her the ball and we all shoot up our hand with the 3 like we always do, and it went in and we just went crazy. It was just one of those moments you can't forget.
Yeah, sometimes we go crazy when we're doing the game up there when she makes 2 or 3 of those in a row. It's just an exciting time. Guys, anything you want to ask of Adeline and Riley? They've been good guests tonight. They have given us a lot of information.
Since we're ripping off Tim's questions, I want to know, this is a Tim question, who is the most likely to get a technical foul? Not on your team. You and Caleb, who's most likely to get a technical foul?
I know that one. I'm not even at the games. I know that one.
Neither one of them have gotten one this year, by the way.
I know. I do got to say, though, he's had a few opportunities. And I think if it wasn't for, Gray and Scott, maybe.
Dragging him out of there, right?
Yeah, totally. No, honestly, he held his composure a lot better than I would. If I was in the situations he were, I probably would have lost it.
We have all been proud of
I know. I'm
Caleb
very
this
impressed.
Season.
And look, he brought his own support section with him tonight.
Riley, I'm not sure you played in middle school basketball in Huntsville. I know you didn't play at Scott High as a freshman, but then you came back out as a sophomore, and all of a sudden here you are, become a very integral part of the team last year. Now you're starting as a senior. What has that been like? What got you back out and into basketball? And obviously you've not regretted the decision.
Yeah, I actually did play my 6th and 7th grade year at Huntsville, and then I just decided not to play my 8th grade year, which was really stupid on my part. I probably would have started out there, but I didn't. I didn't play my 8th grade year, and I didn't play my freshman year either. And then they announced that Scott High was getting a new coach, and that Coach Wright was going to be there, and I had never ever heard of him before. And then my mom actually talked me into. My mom and dad were really mad that I quit playing anyway. And so, like, whenever I found out they had a new coach, he's like, well, they're getting a new start, so you should too, or whatever. You just go out there and try, and if you can, like, start it out for a week. If you don't like it, then you don't have to play it. It don't matter. So I went out to, like, the first meeting that he had, and he was really nice, and I, like, loved him from the start. And so whenever we started practice, we were all there, and literally the first practice we were all dying, and he had the patience to stay with us, and I was like, and then I just stuck with it because I just loved the way that he did things and how he ran stuff, and so I'm just like, I stayed with it, and I definitely don't regret the decision. So.
All right. Last question. Adeline, when you got to Scott High, Sawyer Roberts was there. He's kind of the founder of the Coonskin Crazies, and he's gone on to MTSU now. So I gotta ask this question: when it comes to student section leaders, Sawyer Roberts versus Clayton Carroll, who are you going to take?
You know you can't put me in this situation.
Sure I can. I just did.
You just did, yeah.
I mean, I have to pick Clayton.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
I have no choice. To be fair, though, he is my student section leader as a senior, so, but I have to pick him.
Can I say one thing about student sections? This goes for both. We've got great student sections at both of these schools, and we were down at Kingston the other night, and I'm not trying to rip anybody or anything, but one of the most disheartening things I watched was their girls played in a quiet gym, and then the student section kind of files in at the end of the fourth quarter and goes crazy for the boys, and it just made me happy that that's not what you guys have to deal with. You've got a good student section at both of these schools here in this county, and hopefully they'll get that way down there. But I mean, I think it's a good shout out to both.
I was thinking about you down in Kingston, Tim.
Praying for him.
Well, no, I was thinking, one night they brought the band in and sat right under the crow's nest right there. You can't hear yourself think. You can't. You don't know if anybody can hear you talking like. I was thinking, I hope they don't do that anymore. So.
It was unique.
Yeah.
All right, Adeline Woodward and Riley Price, guys. Good luck tomorrow night and going into the upcoming district tournament. Thank you for joining us. Let's take another break quickly, and when we come back, let's go back to Oneida, and we'll be joined by a couple of Indians. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. We're getting started with hour number 2. We got to thank Trophy Masters for providing us with our set decorations, Baby J's Pizza for the pizza that's being served here tonight, also to Little's Drugs and Fountain, and to Jeffers Tax Service for sponsoring us tonight. And now we're joined by a couple of Oneida Indians. We've got senior Jarek Hewling, and we've got junior Gavin Keaton. And I feel like I've said this all night, but again, 2 players that are very instrumental to the success of their basketball team, Tim.
Absolutely. A lot of Indians play, and you guys both come off the bench to provide sparks for the Indians in different ways, and you kind of have similar stories. We're going to get into that tonight, but just looking at where we are right now with 8 days left in the season, and tomorrow night Wartburg comes in, and was it as strange, and I'm going to start with Jarek here, was it as strange for you when we went down to Wartburg and had a running clock? That just seems so unusual to what I'm used to at Wartburg. They're usually so much better. But what do you remember about that Wartburg team, and what will you have to be careful of tomorrow night when they come in?
I can't really remember anything that they did that hurt us pretty bad. Like, we executed everything we did. We beat them, had our JV in by the third quarter. I mean, I feel like we executed the game pretty well. Yeah,
and Wartburg, to be fair, is at the bottom of the standings right now. They've only won 1 district game this year, and so they've struggled. But then Tuesday night, we've got a district game with Sunbright, and Gavin, Sunbright I'm still wondering. Of course, it was early in the year, but they beat Oliver Springs.
Yes.
And so this is a team that's capable of doing big things.
Absolutely.
And so they come in Tuesday night. What do you remember about Sunbright?
Sunbright, they had some guards they're passionate about the game. The Frills boy, he made some big plays in the game. They just have a couple of shooters that can make some shots. If they're hitting, they're dangerous.
Yeah.
You can't sleep on them.
And it's more more likely they're going to be hitting if you're going to their place, right?
Absolutely. We tend to get everybody's good game.
Yeah. I think that's true. And I think one thing I mentioned in the first segment is trying to match the intensity of the teams that come in. I think you guys, when you're playing a York or a Kingston or things like that, you really ramp the intensity up. Campbell County, I think about how you play with Campbell County this year, but sometimes with these other teams it slides back a little bit, and you got to prevent that. So let's just go with this one. So last year you were undefeated in the district, and you went into the Oliver Springs game, and Oliver Springs was able to pull off a big win. Now, neither one of you guys were available for that. So Jarek wasn't playing. You were injured at that time. So you guys can be the difference. That's how I'm painting this, right? You're gonna have a chance to be the difference. You've seen Oliver Springs once. We got a win down there.
Mm-hmm.
Jarek, what will you have to do next Friday night against Oliver Springs up here to make sure that they don't do what they did to Oneida last year?
I think the only thing that we could do is hit shots. We were playing pretty good defense. We held them to under 50 points, but other than that, we couldn't get the lid off the rim. Couldn't hit shots.
Yeah, I remember that. You're exactly right. What about you, Gavin? What do you think about it?
They played lights out when we was at their place, and that's a tough gym to go win in.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. They have a couple post players that are physical. They're strong. I've played with the left-handed kid before, Barger. You know him. So we're real good friends together. But again, they have young guards. They're talented guards, though.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be tough either way.
Well, and I think they absolutely believe they can beat you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they can if you're not careful. So, but it's important. I think last year that was such an important game because it just kind of set the tone, and then it happened again in the district. So what about Coach King right now? I know he's searching and looking for answers, trying to do things. Is there anything you're noticing that he's doing different? You were kind of watching as an observer last year. Can you notice any difference with him this year and what he's doing, trying to make sure things don't happen like they did last year?
He's wanting us to focus our goals on going and winning a district championship, and then we'll look on to region. Then we'll look on the sub-state. But we really got to win that district championship. It will help us as the competition will play and advancing.
Yeah. It was the whole key last year. Jarek, what can you bring that they didn't have last year? What do you feel like you're able to bring?
I feel like I can bring a slight bit of athleticism to the team. More versatile. We're more spread out. We have more guards. I can play just about anywhere, I feel like.
Yeah.
Slight bit of athleticism.
Slight bit, yeah. He's being a little bit modest on that. But I think also just another big thing is having a number of folks to go into the rotation. You get into district tournament time, and you're able to be counted on. Is there anything? So we've got 5 starters that we've been pretty locked into in the last little while. Is there anything? Do you feel like as a I've seen bench crews name themselves. The ones that come in next, have a name for the guys that come in off the bench. Do you have a mentality like that of you're coming in and I'm not asking if you have a name because you probably don't, but what is your mentality as coming off the bench? How's that different? I'll start with Gavin.
Well, when I come into the game, I'm thinking I need to get rebounds. I need to make good passes. Just do all the little things mostly. That's what I have to focus on. Maybe go in, hit a 3 or 2. I'm trying to work on my inside game right now, and that's the talk that me and Coach King had, is establishing myself inside, and been working on that a lot this week. So hopefully you'll see me posting up and being a little bit more physical.
All right, Gavin. Jarek. What's job one? When you're going to the game, what's the first thing you want to make sure you do?
Push the ball. I feel like we play really well when we push it out front, but we usually can't with all these smaller schools want to slow us down.
Yeah. So I've heard Coach King say push a few times. He says that sometimes during the game. Yeah.
Every time.
All right. So if you had to say, here's the one thing we've got to do to improve? And Jarek, I'll start with you on this one. This is the one area we have to improve if we're going to get where we want to be. What is it?
Free throws. We're not very good at free throws. We hit them all the time in practice, but we go in a game and we shoot 50%.
That's fair. I've looked at the stats. That is an accurate assessment. What would you say it is, Gavin?
Free throws is a big one, but we got to find somebody inside that's going to be consistent in scoring. We need to be consistent in rebounding, and we have to come out every night hungry, if that makes sense. We can't play Wartburg or somebody in the district and just sleep on them,
Right.
Because when tournament time comes around, you can get beat. Yep. And that's not our goal this year, is to get beat in district or region semifinals. So we just got to bring our own intensity every night, and I don't think the coaches should bring it out of us. We should just get it out of ourselves.
So you've both had the experience of not being out there with the team through the high school career. What has that done? Has that changed you, your mental process, your thought about it? Your, the time out there is precious. I mean,
yes.
What? Talk about that.
My time away from the game and not playing, I learned a lot. You scheming, and you see the gaps and defenses, and you just learn a lot about the game. And then, like you said, it's precious time. It really is. And I take advantage of all the time I do get in the play. So
you were pressing when you came back.
Yeah.
You were wanting to get that shot.
Yeah.
And I was so glad it's happened now. And so now it looks like you're you again. You're relaxed and you're doing your stuff, and that's great. It's great to see.
Yeah.
Jarek, what about time away and coming back? What brought you back?
Just my love for basketball. It's never really died. I mean, I felt like last year I needed a year off from basketball. I'd played it ever since I was little. Ever since I was 3 years old, that's all I've done is basketball. But that year off, I really regret it. I really do, because I'm not the same right now. I'll get back there, but I just feel like, I regret it a little bit.
I got you. All right. Well, there's still time, but boy, it's going to go fast. And but the regular season, we got another 8 days to go in that. And like you said, then you got your goals set. Oneida's going to be hosting a district tournament. I believe it's the first time in 24 years. So hopefully everybody will take advantage of that and get out and support you guys, the student section and all this.
Hopefully.
So, but your student section has been pretty good so far this year, Jarek. What about that?
I love student sections. They always bring out the best in me in games, football games, basketball games, anything. Give me hype.
What about the other student section? Do you feed off that any?
Sometimes, yeah. Unless they're heckling like right in my ear.
Yeah. Oliver Springs, tough place, wasn't it?
So was Kingston.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Kingston's the one.
All right, so here's the quick quiz then, like they with the girls. Who you each can get to name this. Who's the clown of the team? Who keeps everything loose? Who's cutting the joke? Who's that going to be?
Sam Bell.
That's okay. Yeah, we had it. That's exactly what they said. What about team psychiatrist? Somebody's got a problem. They need some advice. Who are they going to?
I don't know.
Y'all need one of these. The girls don't have one. Okay.
A lot of people, they like to come to me or Mace or something like that. I don't know. I think I might be one of those guys. Okay. All right. Does anybody do a Jacob King impression? You don't want to out him? No. I don't Nobody you know of?
Gavin, come on, Gavin. Do not let us down.
Well, me and Jarek was sitting over there. He said he had this one.
No, if I did it, I'd get thrown off.
Yeah, I don't want to run.
I don't want to run either.
So we'll just say nobody does King, one.
Yeah. I don't want to hurt Coach King's feelings.
All right. So on the team, over these next few games, who is the most likely person to get a technical?
Sam.
Okay.
Sam,
this is pretty unanimous, so you all are confirming things that we've already known. But, so good luck. I know we've got some great challenges ahead. I mean, going to Jellicoe Monday night, that's an athletic team that gave us everything we wanted. They got some great individual players that really, I guess I'll say, get after it, right? They're going to give you everything they got. So it's some good games coming up this week. Is there one you're looking forward to more than the other, Gavin?
I just got my eyes set on Wartburg. It's still a big game.
Okay.
To secure that one seed. So that's the one I got my eyes on. And I'm excited for Sunbright, excited for Oliver Springs, but got my eyes set on tomorrow.
Jarek?
Wartburg. It's the next game.
So you guys coming through middle school had so much success. The rival was Harriman, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Is it weird to see Harriman haven't lost these players and now they're just kind of a shell of who they were?
It's a bit weird.
Odd. Very odd.
Yeah. Unexpected. It's a shame, really. But take advantage of it. All right, guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was Jared Hewling and Gavin Keaton, and I almost got tongue-tied. We're going to step aside for another break. When we come back, we're going to have our last player segment as we're joined by a couple of Scott Highlander seniors, and we've still got our Legends of the Game ahead as well. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. We are rolling right along. We've still got our Plateau Drug Center and Scott County Pharmacy Legends of the Game ahead. I said legends,
Yeah.
Tim.
Can I say one thing real quick before you start? Because, we didn't play last Friday, and then we got snowed out Monday. I got to watch you guys. I've been getting to watch you guys more than I love having the IHSN and being able to watch Sky because it used to be I never got to see it. Man, the effort, the way y'all are playing right now, I've loved it. You're the most dangerous team right now, so keep it going. I'm enjoying it. Brady said he was going to get some dubs last time he was here, and he's been going out and getting them. Y'all all have, so congratulations.
So Brady Strunk, Scott Jeffers, two of the 4 seniors on this Scott High team. And Rick, as Tim alluded to, the way that this team's been playing, and we had Brady on 2 weeks ago, the night before the Anderson County game. He said, I want to go get some dubs, and since then he has kicked it up to an entirely new level. Maybe the best player in the district the last 2 weeks. What do you think?
I think he's been eating his Wheaties. That's all I can really say about that. But the team's been an exciting bunch to watch. They're staying in games. They're enjoying things. They're understanding what Coach Jaden wanted them to do, and they're executing out there. And I don't want to take away from anybody else, but they did bring – he credits you, Scott, bringing the student section back there. Also, you've got – Toby, Sky, Gray, and Woody, they make up. We don't have a camera, guys. It doesn't do you any good pointing at you back there. But this is the nucleus of the 6 or 7 or 8 players that have been playing. Brady's turned it up a lot, and I'm going to start with Scott. First of all, I apologize to you.
It's okay.
Because and
you don't know what he's apologizing for.
You don't know what I'm apologizing for. And about 100 other people need to do that. You took on the point guard role for the Highlanders this year when, my understanding, you didn't want to do that. And you have performed outstanding all season long.
Yeah, it's definitely been an adjustment, but, I'm happy to do whatever it takes to help the team win.
Well, I started saying a couple of games ago, there's some Scott skin out there on the floor. Brady, I think in the last couple of weeks, Brady's been trying to match your skin on the floor. He's out there a lot.
I got jealous of it. That's what happened.
That's what happened. But when Brady was here 2 weeks ago, he said, I don't know what the question was, and he talked about the guns that Scott Jeffers has.
Yeah, take off that hoodie, Scott. Show them off.
Yeah, do you want to – no, you don't have to do that, but do you want to address that in any shape, form, or fashion? Is it the weight room, or you just out on the farm all summer?
No comment.
Okay. He sort of put you on the spot there like that. So I just wanted to know that. And you've been a very, very consistent free throw shooter. I don't know how much time you've spent in the summer. I don't know how much time you spend after practice doing that. But you have a sense of calmness and confidence when you go to the foul line. And you've been doing excellent. Tell us about thought process, getting to the line and then making those tosses.
I've noticed the more I've thought about it, the harder it is to make them. So I usually just try to keep a clear head, try to get to the line the best I can, and that's about it.
Well, there you go. It's okay to talk all you want to, Scott, on this show.
Open up, Scott.
Yeah.
I told you Brady was going to do the talking.
Well, you're probably right. Brady, you told us a couple of weeks ago, we want some more wins. This team's not done yet. What kicked Brady into 3rd or 4th or 5th gear in the last couple of weeks?
Just confidence mainly. Just being in my mind, and once I kind of picked it up, team kind of picked it up, and the Flamingos flew the coop. There we go, Scott. Put it on in.
Is that your line, the Flamingos?
That's all him.
That's all him. Everything's on Brady tonight, as far as that goes. But it is an interesting dynamic in the post positions available on the floor for the Highlanders between Caleb, Toby sitting back there. Coach Aiden is doing a really nice job, I think, in that rotation of keeping 2 fresh players on the floor all the time, and whoever's hot, he leaves in there to go through several minutes stretches.
Yeah, we got, for down low, we got me and Woody, and we're I'm not gonna say we're big dudes because I'm not really a post player. I'm only 6'1", but down low, we're kind of battling the whole game out, and it's good to have two big dudes down there and beating and banging. And guards, you got Isaiah Washington. He's been coming in a lot. He's been hitting some big shots, and when Scott's getting beat up and losing skin over the floor. We got Isaiah. He can handle a little bit, come give Scott a breather, and he's out for about 2 or 3 minutes, and he's right back out.
The Highlanders, since the turn of the year, January up to now, you've won 5 of 8 games. What's that been like, Scott? How have you changed? What's changed? Coach Jaden says, well, since the Christmas break. But really, what's changed in January and February that the team is doing so much better right now?
As far as just saying one change, I don't know if we can. I think we're all just really finally
bring out all the changes you want to.
Finally coming together and meshing, trying to actually play together as a team. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of it right now.
Indeed, you are, Brady. Your comment on that. What's been the nucleus behind these 5 wins so far this season in 2023?
Well, I think we kind of all figured out our role, and one thing that helps us is we all got some scorers on the team. If Gray ain't getting 20, you got Sky getting 20. And we've been finally this past few months we've been doing way better on free throws. We was very low on percentage rates on that, but we've been and in practice we've been working on shots, making shots mid range, and that's been helping us out a lot.
Is there a goal that Coach Shaden talks to y'all about in practice? We need to go to the foul line 10 times, 20 times a game. Is there something that he emphasizes on that, Scott?
As far as getting to the free throw line, he doesn't really set a limit, but he usually tries to say that we need a high percentage of makes, and the attempts will come.
More when we get there to make them.
Yeah. Well, that's been true for centuries of basketball. Those are freebies. Clock is stopped. You can make or break them on free throws. Of the teammates sitting back there, which one is most likely to, like tonight, go out? Which one is most likely maybe to buy supper? Is anybody a free spender of that group?
No, I can answer.
Okay.
I mean, if you're a little low on the wallet, we're all pretty good, and and buying something. I know Woody. He's bought me a few things before. Being in high school's rough. Can't afford nothing out here.
Oh, it's so rough. It's so rough.
There they are.
I mean,
need to get an NIL deal.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg. See
hey,
the crew
Twin K,
sitting
hit
back
me
there.
up.
Yeah. You heard what Annaline had to say about her brother earlier, correct?
What'd she say?
Oh, you didn't hear? Well, we won't get into that then. She just said she's probably the better player, better competitor, and has better grades in school. Is this true? I have no reason to doubt Annaline. But Caleb. I'm just saying.
Woody's my best friend, so I can say it. They have their best traits. Woody's not that great at school, but he's a smart kid. Annaline might be a little bit more athletic. She did get that gene. But I mean, come on, we ain't gonna lie to him. But Woody, he's more physical. I'll give him that. And Woody's dominant down in the paint. When he gets his groove going, there ain't no stopping Wood. That's a grown man back there.
Yeah, he's been playing very well in the low post. Scott's initiating the offense. I noticed the last few games you have really been trying to drive harder to the basket. By design, by Coach Aiden?
He's really tried to get me to drive the whole year, but I've just been trying to drive more, get more penetration. That way we can kick it out to shooters and try to get the offense going better.
The other night you also stepped back at a three-pointer. You've not been taking more than 2, maybe 3 tries a game from a field goal standpoint. Is it just playing the point guard position and what you've got to do, and you're concentrating on that more than you are wanting to really shoot the field goal?
Yeah, I think that's it mainly. Just trying to get open looks that I feel like are open. Mainly a confidence thing, but it's definitely been an adjustment, but hopefully it starts clicking pretty soon.
I'm really turning the clock back now, Scott, to that first time we played Anderson County. Probably a more important matchup for you maybe than – it's an important matchup for the entire team, but maybe more important for you. What's it like to make 17 out of 19 foul shots in a game?
It's pretty crazy. I didn't even know I shot that many or made that many until after the game, but, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Well, it was crazy, all right, and you left skin all over Anderson County's floor that night. I mean,
the brand new floor.
Yeah,
brand new.
I mean, and he certainly did that. It's not because you're gangly or anything. You're just falling down. They were putting you on the floor. Rough basketball game at Clinton. Halls was a sort of a rough game. Coalfield. It's the game that you guys just went out. It looked to me like you had more fun during that game than any I've seen in a while. Each of you talk about that. I mean, Clinton was tough. It was a win. Very exciting win over there, even though we were ordered to get out of there in 5 minutes. But it was a very exciting win. Halls was a tough contest that went to overtime, and I thought, like I said, Coalfield was the game that you got. The whole team had fun in that game.
Kick us off, Scott.
With what? What's the question
said
again? Why did we have fun?
Well, no, the 3 games and how they turned out. You know, over there at Clinton, what a rough knockdown, drag out. You know, you might pick up the foul or you might be driven 10 foot into a wall. It's a tough place to play over there. And then come back and have another rough game with Halls losing in overtime on that. And then just the fun aspect of Coalfield, just quick touching on each of those 3 games.
Yeah, the Clinton game, I mean, it was definitely one of the hardest ones, but it was definitely fun. You know, getting in that atmosphere, everyone's going at it. It's a blast. The Halls game, that was a tough one. We had a couple of chances there at the end to win it, and we probably should have, but hopefully we can get them later in the year. And then the Coalfield game, I mean, it was fun. Being up's always fun, and that just gives everyone a little bit more confidence and liberty to try new things. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
fun week.
It was certainly fun. 15 3-pointers you got. I mean, that's what everybody wants to come out and shoot the 3 there like that. Brady, your take on those 3 opponents?
When is Brady Strunk ever speechless? That's what I want to know.
It's a different environment against all 3 teams. Clinton, yeah, and then then we're gonna go to Halls. They're a little bit quieter, but they talk with their game. They're gonna play with the scoreboard, tell you to shut up by the points, and we was just kind of. We're going to get them again. We're going to play them again, hopefully, and we're going to teach them how it is done here in Skokow. But Coalfield, yeah, that was just more of a relaxed game. Nothing to lose, I guess. Coalfield they're not in our district. They're not nothing. It was more just to go out there and just have fun, I guess. So it was kind of just a little relaxed, little getaway.
With 4 games to go in the regular season, starting tomorrow night with Campbell County, it's going to be a real tough matchup. You've got 4 games remaining. 1 game at a time, is that what we're looking at? 1 game at a time? So tomorrow night, Campbell County, what can we expect from the Highlanders tomorrow night, Scott?
Hopefully we can expect starting the game better. We ain't started games very good the last couple ones, so hopefully we can come out and be pretty good offensively and defensively.
Is that the struggle that the team has getting off to a good start? Because when you fall behind, like 12-1 and and 17-3, that's a big hole that you're already in. You're fighting back from that, but sometimes it's hard to come all the way back and pick up the win. Is that one of the things that each of the players you're concentrating on getting off a better start?
Yeah, it's kind of. Sometimes we could dig out of it, but we can't do that every game. Sometimes we might dig a little too far, and so tomorrow we just kind of what I'm personally gonna work on is getting boards, because if we get boards, that's mainly where they live. Is it John Long? Mm-hmm. John Long, shoot, he always has a great game. He plays us on the boards, and so my job is just trying to keep him off of it, and then let the guards do what they do, and I'll go do what I do.
Who's the funniest cat sitting back there making fun of y'all up here?
Probably Sky Bad.
Sky Bad, well, he's sitting back there doing this at his, to himself there. He's the fun guy. Who's the serious guy?
I don't think we have one.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, this is the wrong bunch for that.
Okay, we should have brought somebody else in for that. Who gets on you the most in practice? Teammates. Who gets on you the most in practice?
Probably Woody.
Yeah, Woody. He's very emotional.
No.
Yeah, he has doubts about that. Gray Todd. What does tell us something about Gray Todd.
we wear stools. I don't
He's an intimidator. He's threatening them down there. Don't say a thing up here. I mean, so we found out a lot about Gray Todd right there.
Are you saying he's got a little Bobby Knight in him?
I'm saying he's cool when he's cool, and when he's not, he's not. I'm saying this because he's my best friend. I love him.
I thought Caleb was your best friend.
Oh, they all are.
Oh, okay.
You have multiple best friends. I mean, this ain't like middle school. In high school you have about 3 or 4 good ones.
Yeah, you could expand your friendship base a little bit in high school.
When you're dead, they're gonna be the ones at your funeral.
Yeah. Well, that's something to be thinking about down the road. And you got Toby sitting back there. He had a tremendous game the other night. What does he do? What does he bring to the court during practices? Is he funny? Is he demanding? Does he just stand back and let the seniors go at it?
He's an aggravator. What he likes to do, he likes to pick on people, but it's out of love. And
you're sure about that?
Now, those first 2 things sound familiar.
A lot of being in them, for sure. But we love it. I mean,
Scott, if you're going to get in a fight, who do you want to come to your assistance first back there?
Right here. Probably me.
No, that's back there.
Just back there.
I knew he'd pick you.
All of them, honestly.
All of them.
Woody and Gray both. I think they both have our backs about any fight we picked. So.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that's good to know. If they get a technical foul protecting you, who says something other than Coach Yaden to him?
Woody.
Probably, yeah. Depending on the game, I might say something to him. Honestly,
I'm very nice.
On the score.
Earlier Woody was voted as the player most likely to get a technical.
Oh, for sure.
That's for sure.
Or not Scott. Well, Scott, he didn't get one against Clinton. but that don't happen quite often. It's either Woody or Gray. You think
Gray's up there.
I think Gray's in the lead.
Gray probably has it, honestly.
He's squirming in that chair back there, and he talking about him that way, guys.
Hey, listen, we're eating into our Legends time, but I got 3 questions that are burning questions everybody wants to know the answer to, so I'm going to ask them real quick. And the first one is, Tim always asks every Oneida player that sits in these seats if they have an impression of their coach. And I know you have surely got an impression of Rusty Yaden. Can you give it to us?
Scott's shaking his head no, but I'm going to pass. He's 6'5".
That's a good move.
All right, Scott, Gray Todd has not been a three-point shooter in his life. I don't think I've ever seen him take more than 2 or 3. But this year he is the team's leading three-point shooter. Who taught him how to shoot three-point shots?
It had to be me. I mean, I'm probably the one that taught him how to shoot most.
That's right.
Well, I mean, he's doing it very well. So whoever taught him.
No, he's always been a pretty good three-point shooter. He just ain't had the attempts.
He's been a post player and hadn't got a chance to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and finally, either one of you can answer this, and then we'll go to break. If Coach Yaden is yelling at you guys, that almost never happens. But if he's yelling at you, what is he going to be yelling at you about?
Probably defense.
Defense, I would say so.
Probably defense.
Okay. All right, I wanted to see if my impression was correct. All right, with that said, we will go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap things up with our Plateau Drug Center and Scott County Pharmacy Legends of the Game. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network, and we're going to wrap things up as we always do with our Legends of the Game. And we got to thank Scott County Pharmacy and Plateau Drug Center for sponsoring this segment. Tim, it's always fun to look back to years past, and we wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for those folks. So thank you to them. And I think for the first time ever, we've got not 1, not 2, but 3 Legends of the Game. And from, I don't know, was it 2000 your freshman year?
Yep.
So from 2000 to 2011, it was almost constant. There was a bond at Oneida. A big part of that stretch.
We're not going way back in the past, right? It's recent history.
It feels way back.
So, but yeah, we had, when I was growing up, there was a team full of Grigsby's for years, and then the boys Billingsley's all came through, and then right now we've got a run of Keatons going on. But starting in 2000, it was Bonds, and I was able to be there to see a lot of those things. And so Tristan came first, and then Shanley was next, and then Alex followed up. So we're going to talk a little bit about those years. And again, I was glad to be a part of all those. And even I think maybe was a teacher when Tristan was
You were.
in middle
You
school.
were my
at one
sixth
time.
grade teacher for one semester.
So there's and you went into teaching. So
I did.
I'll take full credit for that. But
I'll give it to you.
Tristan, on the as far as the high school court, with the teams you played on, and basketball's a team sport, but you were able to enjoy the most success of the trio as far as like team sports. So I'm just going to list some things. Your freshman and your senior years, you were district champs. Your freshman and your sophomore years, you were region champs, and you were able to participate in 3 sub-states. It's called sectionals now, freshman, sophomore, and junior years, and 2 state appearances in your freshman and sophomore years. You were on some teams for Oneida that were kind of, I'll just say odd in a way, and what I mean by that is this. So the Lady Indians had established themselves as powers going to the state, but this team would have gaps sometimes where I think one year you all finished 4th in the district.
My sophomore year.
And went to the state.
Yeah, we finished 4th and then won the region tournament and went to state.
Right,
yeah.
and so it was just a strange mix when you were in there. When you went in, and so now you played middle school under Coach West for a time, right?
All of it.
For all of it. So he moved when you did.
7 years I had with him, and then I coached with him too. So
all right,
we're tight.
So you were there for the transition for him from middle school to high school. Do you remember anything about what that was like? Was he different? Did he just carry on exactly? Tell me about the difference.
I've told him this too, that I've made the comment earlier this year that the Marv West I played for wouldn't have stood for that. He was a lot tougher before he had kids and mellowed out a little. Now he's still pretty tough, but he really brought it to us, but I think that like the group we had, that's what we responded to.
Yeah.
And I think that he just does what he needs to for each team.
So, and I remember that group well because I did teach middle school, so I'd had all of you guys coming up through, and so it was a different mix of folks and could be very lax and they could just turn it on. I think no one suffered from that more than Dallas Davis down at Wartburg in your years, because it would seem like he had great teams, and he even talks about this, how then there'd be 2 or 3 shots and everything wouldn't matter anymore because you all were going on and he wasn't. But how would you characterize those teams and those players that you played with, and who are some of the ones that stand out that you played with?
Intense, for one. Like, I came into high school and we were basically told, like, our expectation is the state tournament, and that's our tradition, that's our reputation, and if we fall short, then we failed, and that's kind of the mentality that I had all through high school. Now, we didn't make it there the last 2 years, but that was always the goal and the expectation. And we were talking about scoring earlier. I always joke that I would have hit 1,000 points if I hadn't played with Amanda Jackson for 2 years. There weren't many shots to be had, but I'd say that to her too. And I love her. I actually coached with her.
Or if you had her playing defense on you, that would have helped too, right?
Yeah.
No offense to Amanda. Amanda would tell you this herself, wouldn't she?
I love you, Jackson. If you ever see this, but I have a lot of respect for her as a player. And go ahead.
She hit a lot of those shots. What was your first basketball memory?
Of high school?
No, first basketball. That's thinking, this is fun. I like this. What were you doing?
Well, my very first year, when my parents asked me if I wanted to play basketball, I always wondered why there was only players on one end at a time and not the whole floor. Like, I was completely clueless going into it. So the first year was like, we were the ladybugs. We had spots on our backs. It was all fun.
Who was your coach?
My dad.
That's right. Yeah.
All the way through junior pro. For all 3 of us, for Caden, for Rylan. I mean, he's been a staple for basketball here. He's an unsung hero. So, love you, Dad.
Absolutely. I'm gonna get to him now. Is Tristan the extrovert of the group? Is she more outgoing? And I'm gonna y'all think about that. I'm going to Shanley next. Okay, great. Shanley. Cool. So let me run down your stats. Okay, you were able to participate in 2 state tournaments as a freshman and sophomore. Oh, I'm sorry. One state tournament as a sophomore. You were a district champ as a freshman, which coincided with Tristan's senior year in 2004. You were able to participate in 1 sub-state or sectional game, and that was your sophomore year. And probably holds the distinction of being a team that had such high expectations.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah,
no,
for sure.
No doubt about it. Because did you all have 7 seniors by the time
6.
you got through? 6 seniors. Okay.
Yeah, my senior year we had 6. We only had 12 players on the whole team, and 6 of us were seniors.
So, and you had kind of overachieved that sophomore year, and you all wound up on the big stage at the state playing University School of Jackson and played a good game.
Yeah,
with them,
that
right?
was actually really unexpected. I remember, I think if I'm not mistaken, that year we finished 3rd in the district, and we ran into Wartburg in the semifinals of the region tournament, and we had not beat them all year. So, expectations were low, but we were able to pull it out, and that was probably one of my favorite memories. The most exciting thing was the fact that we finally beat them for, after playing them 3 times and not succeeding. And also that put us in the sub-state.
Yeah.
Now we were, we came up short against Coalfield in the championship game, but I still remember going to Cloudland and what that was like, and in that tiny, tiny gym. And
your point guard was
Chelsea. Chelsea Sexton.
Yes, Chelsea Sexton there. And so the point guard part, you all had the 6 seniors, but you didn't have a natural point guard, I think.
Yeah.
Chelsea was kind of, like you talked about Scott Jeffers, she kind of was put in that role.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We were pretty guard heavy in general. We just pretty much had Brittany Chambers and Kaylee Terry down low. Those were our pretty much only bigs. So we played 4 guards pretty consistently, which unfortunately tasked me with guarding their other post player a lot of times. So
then junior year, it was Wartburg.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah, that you felt. But then the senior year, and again, the expectations, because y'all had made it as sophomores and everything, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Yeah. I'm reliving it, talking about it. I don't even want to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, but we go down, we're at Harriman and playing Greenback in the semifinals, and that was a tough loss. Talk a little bit about that.
I will never forget it. Because we obviously went in expecting to win.
Yeah.
Obviously everybody expected us to win. I think a lot of our downfall was we had some players down. Like, I know I was still recovering. I had mono. I was recovering from mono. Amanda Martin was recovering from mono. If I'm not mistaken, I think Kelsey Lay was too. Mm-hmm. So we weren't like at 100% exactly, which is not necessarily an excuse, just an observation. But I remember me personally, like, it was a frustrating game for me because I could not hit a shot. I could not hit anything. And, that was kind of my thing, was shooting. So,
yeah.
So I was like.
You were, I mean, of that team, of your times on those teams, no doubt, you were like, if we needed a 3-pointer, you thought Shanley.
Yeah. And so that was a very frustrating game for me offensively. And they just outplayed us. I think it was partly, still recovering from sickness and things like that. But I think a lot of it was also like we went in kind of a little big-headed, like thinking we're going to make it to sub-state, and they just kind of kicked us in the mouth, and we weren't expecting it.
But they never really pulled so far away that it was like, they didn't pull so far away that you didn't have hope, which was the hard part of it.
That almost makes it worse because, you have hope until the end, and then at the end when you realize, oh, my career's over, it's pretty devastating. But it is what it is.
What's a Lady Indian other than family that you remember growing up watching, playing, and thinking, I want to be a Lady Indian like that?
Honestly, I remember watching like the years that like Stacy Love or Stacey McBroom and like Ella Watson.
I was going to say Stacy Love. I've never told her that, but like she was one that I looked up to.
I specifically remember like going to a high school basketball game and seeing like that crew play, and I was like, wow, I could do this. Like I want to do this someday.
Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie.
Stacy was a member of the class that all 4 years made the Final Four in the state. Her nickname was the Glove for her defense.
Yeah.
And she directed things at point guard. But anyway, that's an excellent choice. Now, Alex, I know you would love to have the horrible memory that Shanley has, right? Because Alex got snake bit through her high school career in not in anything that happened to her, but in coaching juggles that took place. So
I don't give him a hard time about that either.
Yeah. So Coach West, your freshman sophomore year, and then Coach West departed. Coach Markham took over, and then Sandy Martin checked in. So that was in 4 years. You had 3 different coaches. And I don't have any things to list for you in those years because it was kind of dark years for them. Now, who are the teams that were causing us to not be on the mountain?
Well, I like to always refer back to the fact I played against 2 D1 players who went D1. So we had tough competition. Oliver Springs always was super hard. And then I had Elena Jordan my whole entire career. that I had to play against at Cofield. And then even though they didn't have any like major star players, Wartburg always had a good group of girls.
Yeah.
And then Oakdale was even really good at that time. They had a girl who actually the year that I got district player of the year, she was co-player of the year with me. She was a beast.
Yeah.
We had tough competition all the way around.
And it was Oliver Springs with Kayla there.
Yeah.
Then? Yeah, Kayla Christopher. So, those were the teams. And so, I mean, not only did you have this thing that happened here in Oneida where there was coaching upheaval, but these other teams had some great players.
Oh, yeah.
You were a great player as well, though. And so, while you may be a little bit jealous of the things that happened in high school for your sisters, they might be a little bit jealous of what happened for you because you went on to play at Maryville College. And you didn't just play at Maryville College, but you played on really good teams at Maryville College that made NCAA tournaments and won games in those tournaments. So talk about
And she started.
And she started. That's exactly right.
I'll brag on her.
You were all over the stats in the junior and senior years in those times. And I will say one thing about going back to high school just real quick, that Wartburg team that you lost to your sophomore year, you only lost to them by 1 point, and they wound up at the state tournament.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that one was tough because that was the year that we thought, okay, we got something going here. We'll get there, and that one was tough.
It's tough to watch too.
And that's where you blame Coach West, right?
Yeah.
So let's just call him out. He's not here to defend himself. Okay, but let's go to Maryville real quick. Did you have other offers, or was Maryville first, or how did that work?
Well,
why Maryville?
Tristan was the major part of my recruitment. And I also like to tell the funny story. I actually was recruited for the boys team for Cumberland while my boyfriend, Cody, my husband, was playing there because they thought my name was a boy name. So yeah, they actually called me for the boys team at one time. But no, Tristan made us a video, and I didn't really do the whole going to places very much.
Yeah.
I went to Maryville one time.
Well, with the coaching shuffle too, it was just kind of hard, and we just kind of took it upon ourselves to put her out there.
Yeah.
It was a little harder to get out there at that time. And Donjo Robbins was at Maryville, and she invited me to come play. I met with the coach one time. I fell in love with it, and it was kind of like I don't even really care if anybody else offers me anything. I want to go there.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved it.
And so your junior and senior years, your NCAA tournament, both those years, you're playing in NCAA tournament games?
I went all 4 years.
All 4 years. Okay, so what is the and now I'm going to jot down the line now that we've kind of covered the bios for everybody. What was, Tristan, the absolute best experience and the worst experience of high school Lady Indian basketball? You can choose whichever one you want to go with first.
Well, definitely my worst experience was my very last game,
Okay.
because I got called for 4 walks on a jab step that was not a walk. And I'm still bitter about it to this day because
You want to name the referee?
I wish I had a name, but no, it just crumbled. And it was, and you know how the emotions.
Who was that against?
Wartburg.
Wartburg.
Yeah.
Was it at Wartburg?
No, it was at Rockwood. They had gotten upset by Coalfield, and we should have been on opposite sides of the bracket from them in the region tournament, and ended up playing them in the region semifinals, and they beat us. So yeah, that was my worst moment. Best moment, I don't think there's anything that beats playing in Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just not.
I can still live through her playing in Murfreesboro.
It's
because
such an
it was
amazing
my whole thing, and
experience.
I remember being there, being like, oh my gosh, I want this one day.
The whole thing, it felt like big time. It was always packed because there were so
Right.
many games going on. The experience with the teammates in the hotel rooms, and I mean, even like summer camps were a big part of why I love basketball. I mean, just the teammates and the experiences you had together.
Shanley, the high, the low.
High. I mean, I don't want to be cliche and also say going to the state tournament, but that was obviously a high. But I'm going to be mushy for a second. And for me personally, getting to play a year with my sister, actually, because the year started out rocky for me. I didn't get a lot of playing time, but I earned my way into the rotation about halfway through the year. I was pretty proud of that, and so it was really cool to get to play with her. And it was really awesome that we not only won the district tournament, but I got to see her be crowned MVP. So
Were you, as a freshman, mature enough to soak that in at the time? Because some freshmen wouldn't be. It'd be just like
I think I was. I've always been a very sentimental person, I think. So, like, I knew the gravity of the situation, that this was my sister's last year, and, like, it was a special thing that we got to play together. So, I think, I was a little discouraged at the beginning of the year because, I rode the bench a lot, and I was like, this is not what I wanted to share with my sister. So, I just, I went to work, worked hard, and I got to play. I even got to start a couple games, which really surprised me. So I think that's one of my highs. And then also like summer camps and all that. Low, aside from my last game of my career, is I will never forget this as long as I live. We played Sunbright, and we played terribly. We won, but barely, and they were just not a very good team that year, and we played awful. And the next day at practice, I don't think I've ever run so much in my entire life. I specifically remember Coach West making us start at the half line, and we had 3 dribbles to get to the goal and shoot a layup. If we missed the layup, or if we took more than 3 dribbles, he added sprints. And they were with a heavy ball over our heads, and I don't know how all of us weren't throwing up. It was just the worst practice ever. So shout out to Coach West for my worst high school basketball memory.
We're giving him a hard time.
Unfortunately, he'll just be smiling and proud
yeah,
of it.
I mean, yeah. Oh,
it's not like that's going to bother him at all.
I heard, he's kicked us out of practice before. I know, like, yeah, your senior year, my freshman year, I specifically remember he kicked us out one time because he was mad at us. So, like, Tristan, the other seniors were like, okay, well, let's go, put together the rest of practice. And then I'll never forget. It was like conditioning. It wasn't even real practice. And Melanie Phillips, she had something wrong with her foot or something like that. And we were doing like step-ups on the bleachers. And Chelsea Sexton went to Coach West, and she was like, hey, Mel's hurting. And, and I don't know. That just set him off. And he was like, y'all just go home. He just kicked us out. So it's funny now.
See, none of that surprises me. You know that.
Yeah. I mean, it was effective. It it did send a message. But,
but it worked. I mean, it worked every time that happened to us.
So sorry, Coach West. Still love you.
Okay. Alex, what you got?
Oh, well, I have a little harder time thinking about my high moment, I'll be honest, because it was a lot. I played with the same group of girls from the time that I was like 7 till the time we graduated. So Allie Love and Angelique Huff and Taylor Stevens, we were best friends growing up, and I got to play with them. So that was great. And honestly, like, I can still remember getting my 1,000th point against Elena Jordan at Cofield. So that was probably one of my highs.
Okay.
My low is going to be a Coach West low. It was a camp game though, and I remember I played awful, and he pulled me over to the side and he said, I want you to go run over there and come back and tell me when you're ready to play. And I ran for an entire quarter and came back. I said, can I go back in? He goes, you don't get a rest, go back in. I was like, okay.
We're making him sound terrible.
Well,
no, that's why he's so great.
No,
that's why he's
so
great, though. And that's why I like to give him a hard time, because I know he was a great coach, and I'm always like, my high school career could have been a lot different with you. And he tells me all the time he feels bad, but yeah, I do like to give him a hard time.
Can you give me one word, Coach West, one word?
Why you guys got?
I don't know.
You had him for 7 years.
You want me to start with Alex? I will. I'll go backwards. Alex.
Intense.
Intense.
Oh, that was my word.
Alex.
Gosh, I don't know. One word. I don't know.
2 words. Feel free.
A phrase.
You can break my rules.
No, well, I really think he's one of the best. I really do.
Legend.
He is. He is.
Passionate. I'd say he's really passionate.
All right.
I appreciated that.
Now, a couple things I want to talk about. Talk about Dad as coach. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shanley, you start this one.
All right. Well, he coached me all through junior pro, and he actually made another guest appearance my 8th grade year as an assistant coach with Phil Newport. So that was a fun surprise. I loved playing for my dad. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, he loved basketball and he loved coaching. He really cared about, like, all of us kids, and I think he's really great at it. And it was just a really, like, cool experience knowing that, like, he was there with me and, like, watching me grow up and help me develop into the player I ended up being. Like, a lot of it I owe to him because of everything, like, fundamental-wise that he taught me. So, yeah, I mean, he's also a legend in the junior pro world, I guess.
Yeah, because they had 3 and 4 teams at a time.
Yeah,
Like
I remember him and Steve Jeffers. They would have like 2 teams in like my division and then 2 teams in like Alex's division. So, and we were all named after WNBA teams. So it would be like the Stars and the Stars Junior, or the Junior Stars, you know. So like they were always juniors. But yeah, I don't know how they managed it, but they would manage 4 teams at a time, and it was just incredible. And I know I can probably speak for a lot of the people that I played with, like growing up, that's some of their probably best memories from their childhood, because I know every time my dad posts pictures on Facebook of the youth sports, everybody's commenting like, these are some of the best times of my life. So we owe a lot of that to him.
All right. And I just want to mention, I want to tie together here a little bit because your family basketball, yes, but it's a family that is in service to people. I mean, every one of you all. Your mother's nurse, dad, police officer. You know, he's our chief deputy now here in the county. Tristan teaches. You're a nurse, following the footsteps. You're a pharmacist. And I mean, it's serving others, and I think that's so admirable. It's got to come from the top. It's got to come from somewhere. Tell me something about Mom.
She's tough. I mean,
she was harder on us than my dad was whenever it came to sports. She expected greatness.
She had her part in it. You know, my dad, I'm sure a lot of people find him intimidating as a police officer. He's a big teddy bear. Kids love him. He's gifted in that way, and that's why he was so good at junior pro, that he knew so much about basketball, and he's so good with kids. She was like tough. She was like, here's your summer workout plan. You need to make sure you're getting this stuff done, and definitely a big part of how successful we all are, I think.
I mean, you know, at the time we were thinking, oh, she's so mean, she's the worst, but honestly, like, thank you, because I mean, you know,
high expectations.
Yeah,
and I have that for my kids now.
Yeah, like if you know, you don't make me a summer workout and make me get out there and do it, and I'm in trouble if I don't do it, like I'm not going to do it. So therefore I don't develop. So I mean, we also owe a lot of our success to her for sure.
On the outside, Dad, such a quiet, calm, and if you get to know him, a great person. And then you've got Mom with the fire, I think. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Fair statement.
Yeah.
And so here's the question. I'm going to ask the 2 sisters here, more like Mom or Dad?
Mom.
Yeah, definitely
100%.
Mom. Yeah.
Okay,
her
2
kids
sisters.
would say the same
What
thing.
about Alex?
I think you're like a mix of both. Yeah.
Okay, ladies, what about Shanley?
Dad, 100%.
That's a pretty even. That'll work. All
and
right.
that's what her kids say too. They say the same thing.
So speaking of kids, before we go here, Shanley, you can be very objective here. I've seen you post you're a professional aunt.
Oh,
that's what you do right now.
1,000%.
So yeah, so what's it like? You know, Caden is quarterbacking. He's starting for the basketball team, and as an aunt, watching this go on and watching your sister be a mom to the athlete. What's that like?
It's just honestly incredible. Like, I'm just so proud of him. It's like, I feel like he's mine. I mean, of course, he was born when I was still in high school. I was 16 years old. So in a way, I feel like I helped raise him, definitely. And so just to see, like, I've been watching him since he was little, and I will follow that kid until his career's over, as many games as I can. And it's just, I feel pride as if he's my kid and I'm his mother, which sometimes I feel like I am, because he asks me for stuff when he does.
More than me.
So Tristan, you've got quite a crew. Any more athletes hiding for us?
Well,
I know they're into a lot of things, right?
They are.
A variety.
Of course, we have Eli.
Right.
But you know, Briley's a dancer, and she just would not even try basketball.
Okay.
That just was not happening. And you know, I've got the twins, and one of them is more like Briley. But now Adeline says she's going to be a basketball girl. So.
Okay.
We might have one coming up eventually, and hopefully by then somebody remembers that we were around. Like, thank you for having us here, by the way, because I don't think my husband even believed that I was good at basketball.
You know what?
He's never seen. I have to pull out those VHS tapes and give him some highlights.
Do you even have a VCR?
A couple of weeks ago,
I have to buy one.
I was watching Powell Valley from 2002 up there. They were a 4-win team, and we dropped one to them. So, you know what? We've got some things in the works. You may be able to see some of your stuff, all of your old stuff coming at some point
Then he'll believe that I was good.
I think that'd be good to prove what you all are capable of. Real quick, I want to go through. And so Alex, I know Rylan is here tonight. Rylan's here observing. Rylan's also putting the uniform on right now. How are things going?
He is. Well, I developed a love for it right away. It took him a little bit. He was kind of like, sure, I'll play ball. And this year was the year that he was like, okay, yeah, I really like this. And he started to ask to go to the gym and stuff. And, of course, we're all into that. So.
All right. And so Barrett is younger.
Barrett. He's going to live, eat, and breathe ball.
He's exactly like Caden was, always a ball in his hand, and he cares about nothing but sports.
Right before we came here, he was at my mom and dad's house going, Mommy, watch, shoot it. Shooting jump shots.
You want to break any news?
Huh?
Break any news?
Oh, yeah. My little no gender baby.
Okay, all right.
It's going to be a surprise.
Yeah, it's going to be a surprise.
Maybe there'll be a girl basketball player in there.
I know. Maybe a girl basketball player.
Last thing I want to ask. I want you two to talk about Aunt Shanley and what that means to your kids.
Well, I'll go first. I've got 6 altogether, and it's a struggle to say the least, and it really does take a village. And she says she feels like they're hers. I feel like they're hers too. I can ask her to, drop anything. She's left work early for me. She's picked up kids. She'll do anything. And my kids are just really blessed to have such a close-knit family. Like, all the games you look, my mom and dad are always there. If they're available, they're there. And I hope that they realize someday how special that is.
Alex?
Yeah, literally, she said it perfectly. She is like another mom to them, and always will be.
All right. Ladies, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
We advertised that the Bond girls were going to be on the IHSN tonight. So I appreciate y'all coming to the Legends segment. Thank you for all that you brought to the table and all that's coming in the future because of the work, and certainly just have a great respect for what you guys do and the family and everything. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Tristan, Alex, Shanley, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you all for joining us tonight as well, and that's a wrap. We will not have the roundtable next week. Scott High's got a ball game on Thursday night that we will be broadcasting. We will, however, be back with the roundtable the following week. So for everybody who has been involved, Rick Keaton, Tim Smith, Greg Baum behind the scenes, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and get out and support the teams tomorrow night as both teams will be at home. If you can't make it out, you can join us on the IH Sports Network at 6:15 tomorrow night.